Hi guys and ghouls, fellow earth travelers out there. I wanted to go ahead and cover some interesting, well, I find it fascinating topic of extraterrestrials and UFOs. Mainly hit on some stuff, personal experiences. Obviously, I think that's best. Everyone's heard, at least if you're like me and you've done a lot of research and you're fascinated by the topic, then you're probably tired of hearing the same stories over and over again. There are a lot of new contacts, stories, and stories in general. People are seeing more and more unidentified flying objects, and some are even having personal visitations. I'd like to say, I'm just a kid at heart, and I am fascinated by what you could call the unknown. I saw my first ghost when I was a teenager. It was my grandfather. I have a special connection with him, and but because of the way I was raised in a very, I guess, Christian-based religion, and everything was demons, or angels. But angels don't come around us, and we're not special, and that only happened in the Bible. Nothing out of the ordinary happens these days. That was just back then. And so I was very skewed in fear. I was in a fear slavery mindset, and that I'm always going to be lesser than, that there's nothing special out there, and nothing special for you to see in general. I mean, we'd celebrate holidays. We didn't have birthdays. It was weird. I was always alienated as a kid. I had an experience. I don't talk about it much because it scared me so much, so badly. I was so traumatized by it, and I couldn't make sense of it at the time. In fact, I only started, over the last couple years, recently, putting the pieces together. I had an abduction experience when I was 18 years old, and it was horrifying. Since then, I've wanted to know what the F, why, what's going on, and being so curious and so open to the possibilities, because I believe the universe is infinite, and that's been told to me by some of these extraterrestrial beings, that there is no limits. And I always found that fascinating, and why I guess it's in my nature to keep pushing the envelope and being one that will go out even on my own, it's usually by myself, to experience these things. And I wanted to share some footage from a couple years back that was groundbreaking for me. I was in the Mojave Desert. A friend of mine from way back in the goth days, because I was a goth kid in the 90s. Yeah. Surprise! Oh, you found me out. And he said he was gonna go camping for 2 weeks out in the desert. I think it was it started in end of October, so it was like a Halloween get together, and then it turned into I was still there at the beginning of November. The story I'm going to share with you, happened, I believe, November 2nd, 2020. I was there for 2 weeks, and I spent a lot of time alone. I'm so interested in these things over, partying, having fun, socializing, being normal. I took this time to go ahead and go and explore for myself and see if I could see anything or experience anything, to be honest. I have this real deep-seated fear. I think it's probably just human. When they showed up, I felt an energy I've never experienced. It's not like having a paranormal experience, like a ghost, a human spirit. It's very intense. It's almost like being like, I don't know, I've obviously never been struck by lightning yet. I can't wait. I mean, it was that intense, if I could put it into words. It was the last night before the camping trip ended, and everyone just had a communal meal. Everybody made some great, amazing vegetarian food, and they also did the whole meat thing too for the meat people. I sat there with others kind of after eating, and I felt this, I was so compelled to go near my tent, and because something felt weird, strange, an energy that I wasn't familiar with, or it's an unexplainable feeling. So I basically, after I ate, walked over to where my tent was, and there's this little path. There's this path where you see the moon, and it's beautiful, and I'm looking there, and inside my mind I'm hearing there's a ship, and I'm thinking, what? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Always very skeptical. So I'm wanting to get a closer view of that area, because I was compelled. It was like you know how Dracula, he's like, come to me. It was like this energy that I couldn't describe, that I was so curious at the same time. If this, maybe someone else out there has had this happen to them, I'll get to the point. God, get to the point. God, I will when I want to. God. Take my camera, and there's a binocular, it's a crappy app called Binoculars or something. And I was like, oh, maybe this will work. Maybe I can get closer. So as I'm turning my camera, you know, the opposite direction, camera, phone, whatever, I'm using the app, and it switches over to look forward. And I put the camera up just like so, like anybody would. And I see in my camera, it wasn't on, by the way. I wish that would have been pretty intense. So as I'm doing this and I'm looking at my camera, and keep in mind, I can see in my periphery that there is nothing there. But in my camera, there's a being. Really tall. Guy was probably, I want to say 9-10 feet tall. I mean, and he was quite a distance away from me when he showed up in my camera. So my tent, and then there's this path, and then there's the, you know, the desert trees, you know, those little desert shrubs and some trees, pretty sparse, though it's the desert. Happened in a flash. I'm looking at this being, and he's glowing like a gold color, like gold, like champagne gold, bright. His eyes are bigger than humans, but not big, like Gray's eyes, like the typical Gray. Typical Gray. Hey man, I'm not your typical Gray. He was different than anything I've ever seen or heard about. I was astonished. And his face and the way his body was, he kind of was a profile, and he had his head down, and he looked at me like he was just as scared as I was. Because maybe he knew what a shock it would be. And he didn't want to scare me, and his arms were very close to his body, and he was thin, like a pole. Then, just as soon as, you know, I dropped my camera, and I'm sitting there staring into that spot, and there's nothing there. I'm thinking, what? So I go... So I go over where everyone's having fun. And in fact, in these videos, you can hear people carrying on partying. They're all talking and, you know, having a great time, you know, group fun in the desert, as normal people do around this campfire. And I go get my friend Joe, and he's high as, you know what, his eyes are all red. And I was like, oh God. But Joe, can you come here for a minute? Can you come over here? And he's just like, Yeah, what? What's up? Why are you... he's having too much fun, and he doesn't care about what's wrong with you. Why are you getting all excited? Like, I have to show you something. So he kind of walks over where I was standing, and I go, there was a ET standing there. Can you please go check it out? Go look, because I wanted someone else to see it, because I was like, oh, great. It's like the frog on the Warner Brother cartoon where only the frog dances for the man who has the box, but nobody else, because this guy is like, he's fallen on hard times. I think he was supposed to be some kind of actor or something, because he always wore this like old tuxedo, but it's all like messed up because he's been out in the streets, sleeping on the street. And then he finds this frog that could sing, hello my baby, hello my darling. You know the story, right? This is what it's feeling like. And I'm just like, great. So he turns his camera flashlight or his phone flashlight on, and he goes chasing down where I saw that Mr. Tallboy, and this is a visitor, and he comes back. I'm like, did you see anything? I was just like, oh, I was just hoping that, sorry, I'm melting. So it's been a little rough in the car. Can't wait till fall. But my story, yes, he comes back and he goes, I go, did you see anything? He goes, you remember, he's like, I did see something, but I don't know what it was. He goes, I heard a sound and I saw a shadow of something, but I couldn't get a good look at it. It's like, great, it's fine. You know, most people, normal people go, when they go with a group of folks out to the desert, they want to have fun, have like a mini burn, you know? I mean, I obviously felt something. I had a weird reaction to it. Defensive mode. I was like a growling little dog, like, oh, what is that? You know, that was the energy I felt, because I didn't understand it. And I'm not the type these days when everyone's running around with their heads cut off telling me, oh no, don't go, don't do that, oh no, you know, they're bad, everything's bad. I'm like, oh really? I want to see for myself. I'm just saying, like, I've dealt with that my entire life. Shut up and be quiet and just listen to what we think is true. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of people trying to talk over me. And no, dang it, it's my channel. I'm going to be heard. At least eventually they'll catch on eventually. I want this information to get out there. I want more people to have experiences. The people who are ready. The people who aren't, that's fine. It doesn't matter. And share my story. Someone out there will find it and go, oh my God, wait. Maybe somebody out there has had an experience like that, but it doesn't end there. Oh no. That night, after I saw that hybrid, I communicated with him telepathically. Also, I've always been very sensitive, but even more so to, the sun, to chemicals, to my environment, and toxic people, living with toxic people or being around people who don't have your best intentions at heart. It's heartbreaking, to be honest. So I think, at least personally for me, going off on another tangent, I would rather keep my energy as safe as possible and keep it to myself. Whether or not I live in a car or next time I have a place, I'm going to be very particular about who I share my energy with. I've learned the hard way. Yeah, perspective. I inquired to this being, because now I finally had my in. I've been asking for this to happen. I've been asking, praying to meet someone from somewhere else who I had a connection with, and I asked him what his name was. That's what you do when you meet people, right? And he said you wouldn't. He kind of like, I can hear him kind of like joking. He said you wouldn't be able to remember it, and you probably would never like be able to say it. he goes, just call me Fielding. It's like, never heard that name before. And okay, so it kind of made me think of somebody who works with plants. And I was like, whoa, really? It's like, yeah. And I could feel him. Like, he felt like he could feel everything. And he gave me the impression that he was super sensitive himself. And the reason he was so sensitive was because he had some human DNA. And I found that fascinating. And he said it was like, having a huge, big speaker up to your ear and having it just blast, and I said, because of the human DNA? And he said, yeah. I was like, God, that sounds like a nightmare. What else can I tell you? We talked a little bit about humanity, and he told me that there was going to be more and more experiences, not just with me, but other people are going to start to be like the veil is lifting in that sense. They're coming, and people are going to have more experiences, and people are going to start seeing more things in the sky, and it's going to speed up. And this is 2020. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, so just let everyone know. Try not to be fearful. And I'll just leave you with this point. He told me, and there were others there too, and I know this is controversial in itself, but people who are into this stuff or know about this stuff or had experiences or whatnot, everyone talks about grays like they're like, they're all evil, they're all bad, but I've come to find that some of them aren't. And I'm not one to, just because other people have had bad experiences, and yeah, the experience I had as a teenager was horrific, and it was grays, okay? But the thing I'm trying to say is, just because everyone, says, they're all bad, they're all evil, it made me kind of wonder, like, well, is that really true? Maybe I can learn something from these beings. It turns out, there's a split. There are some that are being controlled by the reptilians, and there are others who kind of, we call them the rogues, they kind of do their own thing, kind of detached from connection with that force. There's so much to talk about that they've said to me that I find really fascinating, because I'm just like you. I want to know what's going on, and obviously, this might not be life-changing for you watching, but it was life-changing for me to have these experiences. But I'm just going to share a little bit. It's really tricky, and I hope eventually I get better footage. I know it's like all these paranormal videos and UFO videos are always like crappy and dark. It's hard to see what the hell you're looking at and what's this, and I'm doing my best. And a lot of the ETs that I have actually found, I've only found one video of a face of a humanoid ET. Looks like a gray, but there's so many different things out there. I don't want to limit it to that, but it's definitely not human, and I definitely didn't see it on the video. It was quite a shock. I thought it was just black, and I was probably videotaping without a light just to see what I'd pick up in the dark at this park. I'm actually at the park where I've seen a lot of ETs, and they told me that it's because there's been a lot of portals opened up here. This place is, I wouldn't say the energy is, it's been messed with, okay? So you get a mishmash. It's one of those spots where it's just like, I'm more afraid of the people though at night that's why I just don't go out looking anymore. Like in the videos, like the one I would go out, you know, mostly alone, and it's not safe because of people. I'm not afraid of the ETs, even the coyotes. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I do run from them though. It's like, okay, I'll go. But it's mostly the people, because the people, you don't want to run into the people I've seen at night at the park, and the stories that I have had with people, humans. In fact, one time I was about to film, and it wasn't that late. It must have been like 9 p.m. And there was other people in the park. God, I know my makeup's all messed up. Oh well. Anyway, moving right along. This guy, this was so scary. I put my, I think I actually had a video camera at the time, like a nice camera. And I was trying to get some footage because there was the ember lights that these grays put off. So I wanted to share. So I see a man jumping out of the bushes, just out of nowhere, and he comes up behind me and just stands there watching me. So I didn't get to tape that night because I went, okay. I got mad, and I kind of get mouthy, and I was like, what are you doing? Can you go away now? Like, what are you doing? Why are you watching me? So anyway, I hope you enjoy the little tidbits in this video, and I hope you got something out of the story or found it at least a little interesting. Just one of many, but it's the big one. It's a big one for me. It was, you know, in Abbott Costello when they meet Frankenstein and the Wolfman, and my dad used to like love that stuff. He used to watch it. I felt just like, hey, Abbott! You know, I was like running for my freaking life to my friend going, there's a, you know, and he's like, calm down, you're fine. What's wrong with you? Did you see a coyote or something? No, what's this? Never mind, forget it. It was just like the most badass experience. Even though it scared me to death. And another thing I wanted to say, one more thing. God, this is going to be a long video. God, I gotta cut this down. When Fielding, the hybrid, wanted me to know he was there, I started seeing these everywhere after this, by the way. This was crazy. After that little show of like, hey, here I am. Okay, I got it. Mm-hmm. So something a little bit more digestible, even for us curious folk. He showed himself as this orb. And it's not like a ghost orb where you could see through it. It's like a bright light. And when I'd ask it to go, you know, because I clearly, this is the first time I've ever known it, but he was trying to say to me, hey, it's me. I'm here. This is me. My consciousness. This is me. And I'm thinking, okay, sure, buddy. So get brighter. And it would get brighter. I'd be like, okay, well, maybe that was just, you know. We'll try it again. So there's a freaking fly in here. Like, get out of here. Anyway, I'll finish the story. And so there are some videos, and I'm sorry, they're terrible. It's my old phone. It's grainy. It's dark. I got shots of the UFOs I saw after our encounter. He even asked me if I wanted to go for a ride, and I said, not this time. I'm good. Which I wish I would have been brave enough to, because what would happen? What would have happened? I chickened out. Yeah, I kind of joked around in the beginning. He's like, do you want to go for a ride? And I was like, what? No. Can we just... And he's like, okay. Well. Could have gotten off of this bloody planet, and I didn't take my one opportunity. Hopefully I'll get another one, because, never mind. Anyway, so moving right along. They show up as lights, orbs. I've seen some real distinctive ones since then. roaming around at parks at night. And yes, I know it's not safe. It's probably not a good idea to do that. Again, I don't do it very much anymore because of people. Some parks are creepier than others. Especially nowadays, there's a lot of people just running around everywhere like cuckoo. So be careful. And you know, hopefully you have your own experiences. If you want to experience these things, you can. They're open. You're open. Then you can make a connection. You can start seeing UFOs. If you're not ready for the whole meet and greet, face to face, it's okay. They're not gonna, hey! At least, you know, there's groups of ones that don't care. It's always the way of the world. But the good ones are not gonna just like scare the crap out of you and leave you with you know, it's like another soiled pair of shorts. But I have to tell you that it will be intense, and maybe you might pee a little. What? Come on. Anyway, it was crazy. It was epic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video about my experience with the hybrid in the desert, and some of the footage that I'm sharing from the desert trip, and also from some trips after the desert when I went to the parks and realized, oh, are you guys following me? I thought, because why am I thinking that they can only show up at the desert? But I didn't think they would show up at a park. You don't have to look for them up here either, by the way. They're hiding in plain sight. It's not that distant. Some do come from very far away, but trust me when I say it's kind of a joke they have with us. And it's like, you guys are always looking for us up here, and right here, hello. You know, so just be mindful and just be open. Thank you for listening to me. Like, share, and subscribe, please. That would be really nice. If you like what I do, please feel free to donate. Everything's under this video. All the information for donations, for readings. And I also want to start doing little expeditions. I want to host expeditions out in different places, out in the desert and stuff, and with a small group of people, go out and have some experiences. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. All my information is down below. So thank you for listening, and talk to you soon. Bye. Sorry for the shaky, crappy, blurry mess that this is, but it's still pretty extraordinary. I was at a park in LA in the middle of the day, obviously. And this UFO showed up. It was near this tree. Again, I'm sorry, it's just a crappy camera, and it's really hard to tape. These things, you know, get excited and it's shaky and it's a mess, but I did my best. I hope you enjoy it anyway. Let me know if you have any questions or anything of that nature. But yeah, hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.